Okay? See, the difference is, this had to do with the Holocaust. The people who went into the gas chambers, they didn't cry. They went in with joy. The ones who saw them, they cried. Because after they're gone, they have to live with seeing their fellow Jews or their families die. Avraham, after he slaughters his son, he has to live with the fact that his son is no longer here. You understand? The person who dies, once he dies, it's over. So what am I accomplishing? The ultimate. Okay? There's nothing left beyond that. I accomplished. But the one who remains alive, he has to live with the memories and that his son is no longer here. So he has to live with the void. And that he did it. Even that they did is not so terrible that he did it. He did it because Hashem told him to do it. But it's the void that the person who he loved so much is no longer here. Let me ask you a question. God forbid a person's parent dies or a loved one dies. And you believe, scharvonish and so on. You believe in everything. But yet, a person grieves. And there's an obligation to grieve. A person, it's a chiv. A person has that obligation. But ultimately, it's the ultimate. Right? The answer is because factually, as a human being, there's a void. The person who you loved is no longer here. If that's the case, there's this pain. But I know, it doesn't make a difference. That's irrelevant. The pain is the pain, finished. So you have to grieve. You can't lacerate yourself. Because that's beyond. Right? And that's the way the Sephorno explains it. Ultimately, we know it's for the best. The one who left, he's in a good place, a better place. But so what a person's grieving for himself. So grieve, it's only to a point. To start pulling out your hair and lacerating yourself, that's already believing that it's all over. There's no hope. You can't continue. You have God. He's here. Right? That's the Sephorno. Okay. Okay, we're holding Shira Das Varov, page 245. Shira Das Varova. What is the length of the Hadas and the Arova? Shira Das Varova Shloshet Tfochim. Let's say inches. Not a foot. Yeah, 12 foot. Now it's interesting. It's a little less because a tefach, usually we say that it's a question. It's a little less. Some people, they go, they bring a tape measure. Serious. When they buy their arovas and andasim, they measure it to make sure it's long enough. So by the time the person finished with it, the one who sold it, the one who was looking, he passed half the arovas that he went through, and the hadassim. So that's the reason why they package it today. But they don't want people tampering with it. That's why today, even in supermarkets, they pre-package fruits and vegetables like grapes or that. People, not only because people eat it, they start touching everything. So it's a sealed package. You buy the package. The shidra shel lulav arba tefachim. This is interesting. The shidra, the spine of the lulav has to be 4 tefachim because you have the spine and you have the leaves on the very top. They come out of the spine. Kedei shidra shel lulav yotzi min hadas tefach. It's a Mishnah. That the spine has to be 1 tefach above. The lulav is the we say al netilas lulav. We say al netilas esrog because that's the most prominent of the 4 species. That's the most prominent of the species. So it has to be noticeable. So therefore it has to extend beyond the other species that are alongside of it 1 tefach. So but that's the spine. The lulav is the spine of the lulav. Ba'ama bas chamisha tefachim. Asios Shisha. Say me Shlosha al hadas, we'll see. Nimtza shir hadas rovet fochaim u'merzo, shemasor godlim. Makes a whole calculation, we'll see. V'shir shidro shalulav yugimel godlim. Okay, we're going to leave this for next week. Okay, this one. Let's do the next halacha. Tafresh and aleph. Mitzvahs arba minim sheito kol echod lulav echod. What is the mitzvah? You should take 4 species. Lulav echod, shtei arovos, shlosh adasim. That is the mitzvah of what? Of those species. Well, because they're going to be, he's mentioned, because they're all bound together. They put in one band. The Esrog is not in the same band. Because he concludes. Right? Mitzvah la'ogdom b'kesher echad. And there's a mitzvah because we hold it's not maki. It's zekei levad ve'u. It's hidr mitzvah. To put them in one band, that they should be one entity, that's hidr mitzvah. These 3 species. Now he says over in Ramo, mokum atchak deleko hadas kosher. Let's say there's a shortage of kosher hadasim. You can't find them. So it's a rare commodity. Sagele bechad l'kotum. 1 hadas is sufficient. As long as the top is not snipped off. U'mitzvah la'ogdom b'kesher echod. There's a mitzvah to what? To bind them together. The hainu shnei ksherm zel zeh. This is important. What is a kesher? A kesher is a kesher shel kayoma, like on Shabbos. It has to be of something which is a permanent knot. A bow is not sufficient. Let you take the palm leaf and you tie a bow. You wrap it around and you tie a bow. That's how you secure it. As he says, shnei ksherm zal gabi zeh. Right? You take it one and then you do again. That's a knot, on one on top of the other. Mishum noi. And what's the value of that? Noi. To beautify the mitzvah. We'll see. Right, left, that has to do with Kabbalah. But it has to deal with the Medrash because... No. For the same reason, because the Arovis represent the Rishoyim, the evil. Right? It has no food value, it has no fragrance. The Hadassim represent Tzaddikim. So that's why it's on the right versus the left. And for the same reason, that's why it's higher, that the Tzaddik dominates the Rasha. The Rasha does not dominate the Tzaddik. Okay? We'll speak about it. Okay? This is very important. Say, sometimes a person doesn't know. A person wants to take a rubber band, and he wants to put the rubber band to hold it in place. Doesn't have to be, or he wants to take a piece of wire, and he's going to twist the wire, that it'll be secure. That would be okay. Doesn't it? Does not. It's not paltosif. Whatever you want to call rubber. It says minach, any other species. It's irrelevant. It doesn't have to. Doesn't have to grow. It's not. You're only in violation of baltosif. The Gemara says. What happens if you What happens if you would insert the hadas upside down? Right side upside down. Right. Well, would you be yotzei? You're not yotzei. Why? Or take the lulav upside down because it's based on a pasuk. It has to be derech yidulam. That's the reason why we take the esrog inverted initially, and then we turn it over. Of course, when it grows on the tree, the pitum is upward, not downward. So whatever species you use to wrap it, it's not derech yidulam. If you put another species in there similar to the hadas, the way that species would grow, then you'd be in violation of baltosif, right? Because it's associated and equated with the other meaning, similar to the other meaning. You're adding something in the same context as the others. That's baltosif. You're adding. You're altering the profile of the mitzvah. You understand? But if it's wrapped around, that's not the profile of the mitzvah. Therefore, it has no relevance to baltosif. That's what the way Tosas explains the Gemara in Sukkah. Okay?
When he speaks about a knot, he's talking about one knot, not
No. He's talking about the one, the binding. The 3 is for another reason. So the holder is the same, what they call, the Chinese fingers. that's a kesher kayoma, because since it's interwoven, it's similar to the Gemara says, the Mishnah says in knowing what is a stitch. You go, no, just in and out is not enough, because that comes out. You have to have a double stitch, because it has to be secure. Yeah. So as a result of this, it's similar here. When you weave those leaves, those palm leaves, into that, it doesn't come apart. That's the equivalent of a knot. It's knotted together. So when you put the minim, the hadassim, in that, they're bound together. They're bound together with something which is secure. That's considered a secure bond. Okay? Because this comes up on Yom Tov. You're not permitted to make a kesher shakayom on Yom Tov. You're not permitted to make a knot. So let's say the band comes loose on Yom Tov, and you want to redo it. So it's a problem. You can't. It's kosher. Kosher. You're not permitted to make a knot. There's a permanent knot. You're not permitted to make a permanent knot on Yom Tov. So you have to improvise. Take a rubber band, whatever you take over there. And the Yom Tov. There's a whole discussion. I mean, ties. Take a tie, you twist ties. So no, I'm going to say there's a question whether that you're permitted to do that on Shabbos. The twisting is the equivalent of making something, because it's permanent. Once you twist that, it stays that way forever. Never loosens up. There's a piece of wire. There's a wire in there. When you twist it twice, right, it's secure. So the question is, are you allowed to do that on Shabbos? So Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach held you weren't permitted to do it. We're not permitted to do it. Look, when I grew up, Reb Moshe, his word was the halacha. They had a communal sukkah. It was in the 50s. So the schach they used, it was bamboo, not a mat, it was like a bamboo curtain. And it had a string on it. But it was manufactured specifically for the sukkah, to use for schach. So some people, very few Hasidim on the Lower East Side in those days. Today also there are, but in those days, when there were a lot of Jews, very few Hasidim. Even if they had two shtiblach, if they had 10, 15 people, they had a lot there. So right away, some people said, it's this, it's puzzle. They said, look, you don't like it, don't come to the sukkah. Rav Moshe ruled, that's his psak. You're not happy with the psak, go build yourself your own sukkah. And that was the attitude. Why do you do this? Even the woman. Why? Rav Moshe said it's permitted. Rav Moshe's name was the key word to everything that had to do with Yiddishkeit on the Lower East Side years ago. That's what it was. Okay? In those days, even when he was alive, and he passed away in the 80s, early 80s, mid 80s, the twist ties were already used. He never said you're not permitted to use it. Twist ties for any bread or whatever it is, you twist ties. He never said you're not permitted to use it. Never said you weren't. Of course he has to. I mean, you have to. Whatever, but it wasn't known. It wasn't discussed that much, right? Like, years ago, he was the first kosher pizza shop. It was in the Lower East Side. It was in 1958, first kosher pizza shop. Harvey, I'm teaching a little Jewish history here. Okay? It was called Noah's Ark. That was the first pizza shop. 15 cents a slice. That was the cost. They lined around the block 6 times to buy that pizza. So there was a question, do you say motzi? Do you say mazonos? Rav Moshe's psak was, or do you mean mazonos? Wait, no. It says, if you eat more than 2 slices, then you have to wash and say motzi. But 2 slices, mazonos. That was his psak. Because that's called a snack. That's not called sudas keva. It's not considered something substantial. Today, they teach in the schools, you get a piece of 1 slice, you wash and say a motzi. Make, till today, mazonos.
So 2 slices?
2 slices. More than 2 slices. That was Moshe's psak. No, of course. The slice in those days was no smaller than today's slice.
Same size.
Same size.
It's a big city.
No, no, today.
Some of the pies are small. Slices
No, but I mean, when you go into and you ask for one slice, it's actually quite a big.
No, so if it's actually, you see, it's a very large slice. It's different.
The circle is still.
No. The one slice can be equal two, but if you have two big slices, it's more than two slices, right? No, you're right. Of course.
Is it 8 quadrants? Is it 10 quadrants?
Point is that was the size.
I mean, you know if you're eating the pizza for dinner.
No, it doesn't make what you're eating puts. It's called snack food. So some want to differentiate. They want to differentiate. At one time, pizza was never a meal. It's like eating a Danish. You had a Danish with a coffee. You had a pizza. You know, you take the edge off your hunger. You only bought a piece of pizza and had some. That's it. But you went home and you ate. Today, that's become a food. Especially children. Children, they feed pizza as a meal. It's healthy too, especially whatever it is. So that's they want to differentiate. That's why today it's become a motzi rather than that. Okay? But a person was brought up in those days, still, pizza is still seen as a snack food. It's not your meal. It's not your meal. Children, it's the meal. I'll give you an example. Rabbaran, Zech Tzaddik Levrocha, he would have this Seder in Lakewood. His one Lakewood was 20 students and himself. And he would sit with his family on his table, and then he had the other students on 3 other tables. This is in Lakewood. This is like 1946, 47. So he would, firstly, the halacha is you're not supposed to be massive, recline in the presence of your Rebbe. Right? But one's own children or grandchildren, even though they do recline. So he would announce right before they start the Seder that although his family does recline, his children and his grandchildren recline, everybody else should not recline. Did not waive his honor, because the Rebbe has to specifically waive his honor. Then he would say, his karpas, he uses an onion. On the onion, he says, Proi Priyadama. Everyone else cannot use an onion, because in the United States, you say a shakel on an onion. That's what he said. So therefore, you people have to use another vegetable for the karpas. So he explained, because in Russia, it was starvation. What was the staple? Onion and bread. That was the staple. So onion was a regular vegetable. So he said, Bori Priyadama. United States, people just don't eat onions. Onions is always to accommodate something else as a seasoning or whatever it may be. Therefore, that's the reason why it's shakel. I'm just saying, so based on your background, so even though he lived in the United States then, but since his upbringing was, for him, the onion was considered a vegetable, no different than any other vegetable, therefore it was Bar Priyadama.
Most Russian even in the United States eat onions, right?
Eat other things raw too. Just plain onions. You eat plain.
You take a bite like an apple.
No, you cut it up. You slice it up. You eat it with fish or other.
But still, you don't eat just onion. Even if you eat it, it's together with fish. You're eating a piece of fish, you'll eat the onion. It's not like a person would eat a tomato, you eat a fruit, or you eat whatever it is, cucumber.
What about sauteed mushroom onions? So people will eat it regularly.
No, it's sauteed, and then it's adama.
It becomes adama. So the same thing becomes adama.
It would be similar. See, it's interesting. Garlic's the same thing. And one time people ate garlic straight. They would eat a cube of garlic or even a whole head of garlic with bread. People who grew up during the Depression years ate garlic. No, not rubbing. Howard's into the chef. He's in the chef. It's rubbing. No, people, no, not, no, he's not grating. Like people rub it on bread or rub it on, Yeah, you ate the garlic with bread, right? You ate a head of garlic. Not just a cube, just the whole head of garlic you would eat. But like I know, like in Israel, you go to a hotel, they serve, they have baked garlic. It takes the pungency out of the garlic, and it's even Swedish. You'd say dub on that. Yeah, I heard it too. Okay. No, because it's made to open. Right. Exactly.
A lot of people just hang the tie and they leave it.
No, that's a problem. That's a problem. Some people just slip the tie off, put it on a hook or something, then they're not permitted to make a tie. Right? It's not a problem. But if, let's say, they want to make it for the first time, okay. I mean, the Chinese fingers? No, because it's more heater. Well, some people just take the leaf. It's better for others because when you slip it in that thing, usually you puzzle it. They become puzzled because the leaves, you push it through, the leaves get torn off. So unless it's very long, let's say it's 4 tefachim, and the lulav is much longer, so even if the leaves inside get torn off, but anything above it, it's the shear, and it's the full, it's okay. But if you have exactly 3 tefachim and not much more, you push it in half a tefach, so then that actually minimizes, it compromises the whole species, right? That's now you've torn off all the leaves that went into that sleeve. Definitely, it's better to tie it. It's because it's easier. It's.
Is anyone in the school of Aaron on those 2 halachos?
No. Who? Yes. If you're a Litvish gadol, you wear a necktie. Chassid don't. Yeah. They don't even wear ties during the week. That's what the machmish. So they don't wear shoes on Shabbos. They wear like slip-ons, loafers. During the week, they wear lace shoes. Even though it has no relevance, it's a bow. Unless they want to double bow their shoes. Years ago, with Machman, they didn't wear eyeglasses on Shabbos. Eyeglasses. Reading glasses for sure not. Because there was a chance they would take it off. You know, because you really don't need it to see. It's for reading. The person didn't bring his reading glasses before the shul. Wants to wear them. So even though it's called wearing, but you're not wearing it for wearing. You're only wearing it. It's a extreme. No, reading glasses I have maybe to agree with you. It's a slight chumrah, but regular glasses. Why shouldn't you wear it? I mean, if it rains, you wear the lashes. So a person's not able to see. So the person's not able to walk. A person has to have crutches. You could go to shul with crutches on Shabbos. That's not carrying. Because since you can't walk, that's considered part of your being. That's walking. Unless some people, they wear the glass on top of their heads. If they have that habit, then it's a problem. There's no issue. But years ago, there were people with machmir. They were like half blind walking to shul.
Is there a problem pushing a wheelchair?
Pushing a wheelchair is a problem. It's like carrying a person. You're not permitted to carry a person on Shabbos. So even if you say the wheelchair is secondary, it becomes like one and the same with the person. It's no different than the person. Okay.
So the person just pushes himself in the wheelchair.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Right. It's like crutches. It's good. You want to walk around your house with crutches?